daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. And hey, I'm a socialist, and you're about to find out if you are too. Socialism is any egalitarian, pro-equality movement, including any social, economic, or political theory, including the seizure of the means of production and what? Seizing the means of production and social ownership of business. Now we need to modernize these terms because people are fucking stupid. Remember the late great George Carlin said half of all people are stupid, the other half are even stupider? Social ownership of business would be like, for example, the Tesla stock is crashing. Socialism would be for me to implore Tesla employees to secretly unionize. And as that stock collapses, buy it and own it and become a socially owned version of Tesla able to fire Elon Musk. Is that so impossible? No. What do we need to bring back? Unions. So when you find out that I'm a socialist, and I just explained one of the major pillars of socialism, the social ownership of business, would be, for example, let's say you're a hard union fighter for fucking Walmart, and that empire crashes too. The union at Walmart and its employees should buy that stock as it crashes and becomes socially owned. Do you think that private equity is a good thing? Because I don't think private equity is a good thing. Here's why. Most recently, the Ben and Jerry's CEO was fired from their parent company Unilever for being progressive on the internet. So do you understand? I've tried to tell people my whole life capitalism kills everything it touches. And don't forget that I told you that. Everything. It corrupts everything it touches. You want me to explain? I had a really good idea for a business, right? This was before COVID. I even had an investment, okay? Somebody that I still owe that money to, by the way, bet on me. And I did a full run of business development, including doing dynamic research on my opposition. I don't know if you can understand words, but I went to competing businesses and I purchased their products. I went through their client introduction, sale, close cycle. I wrote down the shit that I liked, discarded that shit that I didn't, and I used it to help build my own processes for an operation. And you know what happened? Hold on, I gotta do a bunch of work. Shut up. I knew that was gonna be. I have to do these stupid puzzles in order to. Morning. Somebody said what? Oh, go figure. The U.S. is one big pyramid scheme. Oh my God, is it not? Okay, okay. Morning, fellow social. What's up, cousins? Morning, everybody. There are already 20 people on TikTok. Love y'all, you crazy motherfuckers. Um, I hope that you are controlling what you can control. I know that there's absolute motherfucking madness going on right now, and I just need you to realize that you just need to sleep 8+ hours a day, and you probably need to take a nap. You've got to hydrate, you got to eat right, and then if you're gonna cop to doing that shit, because it's also most equitable to you, it costs the least for you to just have a healthy, active lifestyle and get plenty of rest. It keeps you out of the fucking doctor's office, right? And it's sort of a waterfall effect for most people. Once you get like sick, you stay sick. It's just the way it works. Joanne said, my new flag's flying in the distressed position outside my house, and that is a free exercise of your First Amendment, and I tip the cap. Hey, Kenny, you know what's funny, buddy? I haven't mentioned his name one time, but you came on my live, and the first thing you did was bring that name up. That's that's very telling, Kenny. You should get that looked at. Hey, good morning, Debs, S&M, Zeke. I'm pro 2A. How do you feel about the Second Amendment? Given that everyone that doesn't look like me is in grave danger, I encourage people to defend themselves. Um, I personally am not a big fan of pistola. I'm more of a shoddy fan, so I'm more of a Mossberg. I'm more of a riot shield shoddy. You know, be the best athlete you can be at all times. Understand that you're probably gonna be running. I try to tell the kids I coach high school football, to get used to running for your life. Running like your life depends on it. Run like it's live or die. Cool story. I think that there are better uses of your time. I certainly hope you grow a garden. You're more likely to need what comes out of your garden than what comes out of the front end of that. Did you know that 57% of all pew pew muertes are self-inflicted? So just you flexing gun ownership makes me concerned for your mental health. As soon as someone openly talks about pew pews, I'm like, oh, you're a danger to yourself and others. You should get that looked at. I'm free from that. It's the freest fucking thing I've ever felt in my life is I'm not scared to die. You can better believe. You can better believe. I'm not going out under my shield. I'll go out on it. That's for sure. But I'm gonna grow a garden. I'm gonna put up solar panels. I'm gonna get to know my neighbors. Turn your swords into plowshares. You'll need them sooner. Yeah, but as I've said because the people that don't look like me are in grave danger. I encourage people to protect themselves. So if that was simply not the case, I would not be pro pew pew because that doesn't make any fucking sense in a society where everyone is at equal risk. But that simply is not the case. And therefore, the messaging would be poor. It would be poor messaging to say, don't protect yourself. You're in no greater danger. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear that shit. And I think that's fair. That's fair. I have pit bulls and a German Shepherd, and I am not committing any crime by talking about the news and politics. So what fear should I have, right? Someone completely misunderstands. I want you to have health care, education, income, and housing. All of these things make society a better place to live, and only socialism says those things should come to you at no cost to you. Did you hear what I said? Do you like this capitalist controlled faux FAUX democracy we live in? Is that what you like? Democracy is only as good as it holds. Rules are only any good if they evenly apply to everyone. Yeah. Rolling back protections. Again, people that don't look like me are in grave danger. There's a reason that I'm here. It's again because people that don't look like me would be in danger. Yeah. Hmm. I feel it feels appropriate, by the way, to introduce you if you haven't already heard this song. Maybe this will help you cope. Tears for Fears, Mad World. Maybe that'll help you. Hey, you know what happened, by the way, yesterday? There was a massive anti-Elon Musk protest. Yeah, they did. Well, the night before last, right? Was that last night? I thought that was the night before last. The what? 24, 25. So if you're kind of the person, of course she did, Joanne. She's incredible. She's incredible. You know what I really loved seeing Gino cry. I hate to say it like that. I was seeing Gino cry. Um, I think it was like her last home game or whatever. She was there, it feels like forever. He's kind of sort of one of those transcendent coaches that I've come to really appreciate as someone in coaching. One of the arguments that I've had since I started coaching sports is I tell other coaches like I don't care if you have a numbers problem or not, you have to coach like you have a numbers problem. Like this is a war of attrition. Like think about it. Beginning of every year, and remember, we're saying numbers are not a problem. Every year you get 100 kids come out at several at every position. Your job is to teach them everything you know, get them all on the same page, and then ultimately you got to get them through a football season and keep them all interested on a day-to-day basis and mostly understand this. Part of the reason that I want to coach football is to make sure kids keep their eyes on the prize, their grades. Because one of the things that I've realized is that the coaches on purpose try to separate themselves from their responsibility as it refers to the academic performance of their athletes, right? Knowing full well the science backs me up on saying this. If you are teaching your kids, like as a coach, and you are making it known that like education's important and you're going to put like tutors in their life and you're letting them know like your grades are important to me and I'm going to take time that we get to spend together to sit down with you and make sure that not only are you completing your homework. That's a low fucking bar. I went to school too. It's not good enough to have just done the work. You gotta have someone that knows what the fuck they're talking about. Look at your shit, proofread your shit, make sure that we understand how to write a fucking paper. If I've learned anything in my life, if you can actually do the fucking work, like do good work, the tests will you'll be doing fine on a test. If you're getting good enough grades on the homework because you're actually taking your time and it matters to you and every day matters and shit and you're being thorough and shit like teaching kids that's shit they don't teach kids and the kids that are succeeding at the next level and I hate to say it like that, it makes me sound like I'm a fucking shoe salesman, but at the collegiate level, the people that are succeeding that you're seeing on TV that are having a high level of success are the ones doing their homework. It's about like planning and execution and sort of like remembering tons of stuff and having recall and stuff like that. But the kids that you see having success on Saturday are succeeding in the classroom. And and again, there is a fucking shortage. If you think for and again, don't act like I don't know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm about to blow your motherfucking mind. There is a shortage of people. And trust me, I've been in college in three separate fucking decades and worked. It's a I've coined it the impossible task. Work full time, go to school full time. It's fucking hard. You want to add playing sports to that on Saturday in the under the bright lights and shit and how difficult that is? And understand that the most valuable for the record and people like to disparage other people, the most valuable 18 to 24-year-old is a college athlete. The most valuable 24 to 35-year-old is a professional athlete. Stop disparaging people for wanting to be a good athlete and play sports at the next level. In fact, you should be encouraging it. But it has to start with their education. They have to be performing in the classroom and they have to show up every day interested in what is happening in their education and give a shit about it. Because it's clear to me that the teachers don't give a shit, the administration doesn't give a shit, the voters don't give a shit, that's their parents and their community members don't give a shit. The quality of education at the quality of secondary. secondary education, or is that called considered primary? Um, K through 12. That the quality of education's gone down. So you're ultimately trying to prepare kids for college. You're trying to tell them that this is a low bar now. You know, when I was going through school, here's the problem that I noticed when I was going through school. I grew up in a suburban white community, big school, a lot of underachieving kids, broken homes, poor, you name it, but lived in a bad neighborhood, all that stuff. Okay? Trailer parks mostly in Mooresville. Anybody from there's like, he ain't lying. Trailer parks fucking everywhere. It's poor, mostly a poor community. There's some big ass subdivisions too, but they're dwarfed by fucking giant ass trailer parks. Brooklyn, Indiana. So that group, that generations of kids should have been directed at a 2-year program, mostly. Those kids, I hope to God, all got at least a 2-year degree. Why? Because they were not told to do that. That was sort of poo-pooed. And they were undersold a 4-year education. And a 2-year education was poo-pooed. Okay? So imagine growing up and and I hate to say it out loud. It's just fucking true. When I was growing up, my coaches started saying shit like, "Hey, lay off him a lot. He's going to college." Started stepping in when shit got a little hairy. Hey, lay off him a lot. He's going to college, right? They poo-poo anything other than a 4-year degree, and they sort of undervalue that, where they definitely tell kids don't go to college. And that's not just my experience. That's a lot of kids that I've met over my life. Football's been a part of my life for a long time. And I'd be standing in a huddle with somebody and I'd say, like, we don't know each other. So I got to call an offense using terms that I think we all know. And I'd call a fucking play and something would happen. Kid would drop a ball or run the wrong route, some shit like that. And I'd throw it and catch it anyway and make a play. And then we'd be back in the huddle dapping it up. And he's like, and you're not mad at me? Like, mad at you about what? And he was like, well, I realized after I did it, I did the wrong thing. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, but you hit me anyway. And I was like, she's fucking open. And he was just like, I'm just not used to making a mistake and it not being like the end of the world. And you'd be like, what? And like I said, when I've coached kids and they make mistakes, they get super fucking down on themselves. And I'm thinking like, hey, pucker up, buttercup. Like life is this way. Hey, snap out of it, kid who drops the ball. Cool. And how many people had to die for you to go from poor to wealthy? How many people had to suffer from you going poor to wealthy? Did you ever even stop to think about that? Yeah, okay. That's a crazy way to accept, like, take yourself out of the equation that you started in. You started with I. You said what capitalism's what caused you to go poor to wealthy. I disagree vehemently. I'm willing to bet it was your education, experience, talent, time, ability, willingness, ability to follow through, all of things that are learned. Sure thing. You can hate politics or you can understand that I'm a socialist, right? And that just means I want equality for all, meaning the elimination of a two-tier justice system that we're clearly living in. I want everybody to have universal health care, education, income, and housing. Those are all socialist principles that lots of other countries have. And we don't have that in the name of capitalism, which, by the way, has the collapsing US healthcare system denying 30% of claims. Exactly. So the problem is that you say they, and they have police and military power and security power. You know what I'm saying? And keep in mind that I was thinking about this earlier today. I know that it hurt a lot of people on election day. I know. I woke up I went to bed hurting. I woke up beside myself at 4 a.m. So 4 a.m. club, fucking, I'm been up. But you have to admit, all Donald Trump cared about was himself, and it's showing. Because since election day, the Republican Party has lost over and 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 over again, including Donald Trump. That man has been in court almost every day he's been in office that he hasn't been on a golf course. He's been sued the shit out of. All those executive orders and presidential orders, those are like memos. It's not the end of the world. They're not law. All those firings, illegal, overturned. All those people will get their jobs back with back pay. Is it wildly inconvenient? Is it illegal in a lot of cases and improper? And uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm. Somebody said the somebody said the U.S. is one big pyramid scheme. I told you what they want to do, what corporations want to do, is eliminate all of the people that do not put out, all the people who will not be able to pay are gonna get turned into some form of slave labor. That's what the billionaires want. All of your money's mine, and you get nothing. And since you don't like that, we're enemies now. I'm gonna use my money power to jail you. And in that jail, they're gonna charge you with heinous crimes that you probably didn't actually commit. I'm gonna rig the system to enforce to charge you with those crimes. They did this shit. Think about what they did uh to Hunter Biden. Yeah, federal gun charges for filling out a form wrong. It took a literal pardon to clear his name. Now, should he have been charged? No, he probably should have been like warned, cited, but not federally fucking charged for he what? And understand what Donald Trump is doing is harmful. So it's not that what is happening is not having an effect. I'm not saying any of that. But you also got to be real about some shit. His presidential orders and executive orders are just covering what else is happening. Not even gonna address that one. Just gonna keep it moving. Oh my gosh. Hey, I want to make sure you understand. Yeah, I was gonna say Donald Trump has to wear a diaper. He has to stand on risers to keep from tipping over frontward. Like he's literally gonna break his nose. Okay? He shits himself. He has to stand on risers to keep from falling over. Again, but here's the thing. w- Where did Biden come up from? Like, why would you just bring that up? Who thinks about these people? What did Biden do to even deserve to get brought up here? As if same siding shit is going to get us anywhere. We one of the things that we must get away from is same sides. Oh, they're the same. They're not even fucking close. Every elected Republican took money from Russia, our enemy. That makes them traitors. Now, 100 Democrats took money from AIPAC, Israel. So if you ever wondered why the United States suddenly looks so pro-Russia and pro-Israel, there's the answers right there. There's a reason that I'm founding the American Socialist Party because I have never called myself a Democrat or Republican. I've never looked at a situation and been that as lefty, righty, liberal, cuck, conservative scum. That shit's never been my MO. It's not in any of my content. It's for someone else to fucking say for sure. But I've always known that the father of all of this is capitalism. Daddy fat stacks. If you don't, you don't have to like that. But when you ask me who rules the United States, it's the capitalists, the billionaires. They own the government in the United States, Democrat and Republican. If they're not taking foreign money, they're taking PAC money, money from corporations, which determines the course of policy that elected officials take in their time in office. So I think it's hilarious when people bring up Donald Trump or they bring up Joe Biden in a conversation. Yeah, just be a good boy and fall in line. Yeah. So I've never called myself a Democrat or Republican. I've never seen a situation and looked at it from a left or right. Never really looked at it like that. I always realized there's somebody above all of that using them all like puppets. Isn't that against the flag code, slapping a sports logo on it? What's crazy is that it's not for sale, and I only gave someone the money for materials, and that two of the three of those are gifts, and I also think they're impressive pieces of wood burning with a little bit of paint. And I didn't do this. I didn't do this. So I think they're effectively gifts, and they're also art, and they're also trademarked logos, which makes it even more interesting to me because you can't buy this; it's illegal. Yeah, and they're effectively trash. Two of them are going to my seniors that just never stopped by before they left for college. You know what I mean? So I'll probably get stuck with the Purdue one, and that's my alma mater, and then that's the American flag. So it's kind of like a symbol, and I think they're cool as shit. There's a reason I gaudy. You could say it's gaudy, right? Gaudy, right? The fact that there's three fucking American flags with three trademark logos, right? Gaudy. Yeah, the thin Colts line, yeah. But I think they're fucking rad. And part of the reason that they're gifts is because when I first started my podcast, the kids that I coached came onto my show and they were like, "Where did you get those?" And I was like, "My friend, he lives out, far east side." And he was like, "What does he sell them?" And I'm like, "Hell no, you can't sell this. You don't have the license to sell those." And they were like, "He just made them." Let me say that ending one. Ooh. If it weren't for the Catholics fighting the KKK, as I've gotten older, I've learned some things that makes me not hate Catholic Notre Dame so much. I wasn't gonna say Catholics. Still pretty like iffy on Catholics. Trump when he was in court stunk up the courtroom. Oh my God. Hey, you know what I've learned? No matter how crazy they get, you gotta take care of your parents and you gotta get them off fucking TV before they start shitting themselves. Because I'll put it like this. Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. Hey, I deserve to get called out. I'll take accountability. I'll take accountability. But again, these are just pieces of art. Fair use, totally connect me with people that I've spent a great deal of time with. hmm Very infrequently the source of conversation. Somebody said we're living in a banana republic. Yeah. And I recently had somebody on here that said, "Oh, I see you're in the Marine Corps, so you understand that you basically work for billionaires." And it's like, since I didn't go to Iraq or Afghanistan, I was aboard the USS Baton, who did a med float effectively for that MEU. Um, Not really a billionaire controlled vessel. And I was only on that for 9 days, so it's a really loose association. hmm Certainly, there's been military activity politically driven in the past, and your criticism is welcome. So anybody has something they'd like to say, but I sleep like a motherfucking baby every night because I'm a United States Marine. Do you understand? And you don't, because you're not. And that's one of the things that I get to just I know I got it. You get what I'm saying? I fuck with me. I know I got it. The question's answered. hmm You sleep like a baby beta boy. Yeah. My therapist, it was one of the last things my fucking therapist said. He said, "You know what I've learned about you, Jared?" And I was like, "What?" And he said, being a Marine didn't make you who you are. Like it just reinforced who you are." And I was like, "Oh yeah." Like, and he was like, "Do you understand what I'm saying?" And I was like, "Yes." It was very much a shoe fits era for me. If you get what I'm fucking looking dead ass into a camera and saying. It was very much a shoe fits era. I was fucking wildly angry because my fucking government let me down. Like, are you fucking kidding me? I went to Purdue out of high school to be a pilot and air traffic controller, and before I could graduate, the FAA went on a hiring freeze. No air traffic controllers were leaving air traffic control, and they weren't hiring any. And as a result, it slowed the hiring of basically pilots. I didn't make it a year. I had to work two full-time jobs just to pay bills. Life sucked really fucking bad. I went from to quick. Who cuts their toenails in the Oval Office? That's fucking disgusting. By the way, much respect, Steve. And no, I ain't no fucking war hero. I ain't no fucking war hero. I never claimed to be. I don't even have to be. I know those people. You don't want to know them. I've said this many a time on my podcast. Heavy is the head that wears the fucking crown. And unless you got bodies, you don't deserve a crown. Sorry. And once you do, it is a heavy fucking crown. It's very hard to deal with. So I'm here because they're not. And I can assure you, very few people that have ever served have seen combat anyway. So most people are just fucking lying. That's my favorite thing that I've learned is that not only did the shoe fit for me, a lot of motherfuckers out here will just straight up fucking lie about it. And it happened. It happened as soon as I came home from the Marine Corps. I went to a catfish fry at the local VFW. Got there, was one of the first cars in the parking lot. I was fucking hungry. I went in to get myself a drink. I slid up to the bar. I dapped up the fucking bartender who was a fucking clean shaven fucking Marine. Ordered myself a drink. Went to take a sip. Dude fucking appeared to my right like a leech. And this kid's fresh 18, son. Talking about where he been and what he'd seen and what he done. Bartender and I are exchanging fucking glances. I just put my drink up to my face. The bartender went over the bar and threw walked that dude out the front door and threw him the fuck off the lot. And he said that shit happens all the fucking time. No DD 214, no military ID. And he's like, "You got a military ID?" I showed him. "You got a cat card?" "Yeah, here." "What else you got?" I used to carry the little red card that they give you. One of my puppies fucking chewed it up, broke my goddamn heart. I can't believe that, Cece. Hey, Crystal. So, I feel bad about yesterday. I wish I would have known that there was a massive anti Elon Musk and co's protest yesterday. So great job, everybody, protesting your ass off. I wish I'd have known. I wish I'd have known. If I would have known, I'd have promoted the hell out of that. But I think that was kind of the point. I think it was a pop-up protest. Um, but I saw a map today that gave me a lot of juice. That protest on April 5th, nationwide, your state capital, is international now. Multiple cities in Canada are planning to protest on April 5th. So, hey, great job yesterday. Fuck yeah. Uh, my bad, dog. Somehow that eluded me. Like I didn't realize until yesterday afternoon. There are fucking massive protests at Tesla dealerships all over the fucking place. How did I not know this? I'm like pretty anti Elon Musk, if you know what I'm saying? Like I'm really not about him. I don't know if I have I told you guys this. So I at one point I wasn't famous. I'm never gonna say I'm famous. Even though I do have like almost 16,000 followers on TikTok. Thank you, all of you. That growth was awesome until I made a video about Cash Patel. And then no videos that I made got 1,000 views for a whole month until about the last week. There are lots of people that have commented like, "Hey, I used to be on your show every day, and all of a sudden it disappeared and I couldn't find you when I went to look for you." So I was also banned, by the way. No, I cannot believe that there are people protesting in favor of Elon Musk. I cannot believe that. No. No. And also because I didn't know that there was that protest yesterday, it just tells me that the average American has better information security than this current administration. Because if you protested yesterday, I had no idea that you were going to do that until yesterday. Great job. You should be in government because clearly you have an understanding of how information security works because I didn't know that was coming. And I'm on Protest Finder, right? We have a calendar, right? Remember, there are plenty of people. Yeah, it's wild. Hammond, Indiana, Steve. Afghanistan. I did not, actually. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. See, what's my favorite part about serving in the Marine Corps is that your boy is a badass quarterback. I played football. I was a walk-on quarterback at Purdue for a year, and then I played tight end for a year, and then I was in the Marine Corps. And during the workup, we got some free time, and I played some football, and I got hurt. That's how I. That's why I'm not wasn't in for 20 fucking years. For the record, loved the Marine Corps. Everything about it was amazing. I had no bad times. There was a lot of hurry up and wait, but I'm a gamer and the PlayStation Vita had just come out and basically me and all my friends had PlayStation Vita shit. So we just like cool out like okay, I'll just play this fucking thing. Like whatever. Um so yeah, I always love when people want to say some real disrespectful shit, okay? But I was on that boat for 9 days. 9 with a sling on because they wanted me to play football. So ultimately, what they did was they gave me surgery, let me play a season of football. We went undefeated, and then medically separated me against my will. 6 months after my battle buddy died. I'm sure they thought that if they gave me a bunch of money and sent me home that I'd just drink myself to death. I'm guessing that's what they thought was going to happen. But since people want to ask about my time in service, I spent more than a decade mourning the loss of my battle buddy, who he didn't die in combat. Um, he died while we were on convalescent leave after we both got surgery. He blew out his knee, I broke my arm. We were best friends. We went on the deployment. We went out to sea. Like you go out to sea twice. You practice and then the boat ride. And we went out on the boat ride and we were on the boat ride for like 9 days and they sent us back home. So I always say like there are lots of people that have served whose service was influenced by corporate interest. Uh-huh. But I'm not one of those people. So cool the fuck out. Cool out, bro. I played sports. I worked out a lot. I ate a lot. Yes, you party. It's the fucking Marine Corps. My, yeah, my shit is frozen. Okay. So I've always said, like, I got very lucky. My time on active duty was not like many people's. But at least I'm not fucking lying about the shit. You know what I mean? At least I'm not making up shit. Like I hear pretty frequently. Pretty frequently. Either they're in denial or they're lying about some shit. That's what's really sad. I think I already did that. Yeah. Updated calendar. Okay. I'm assuming April's on its way. But I never saw the that protest for Tesla. I completely missed that. I feel it's wild. Big turnout in Illinois, Downers Grove, Illinois, Tesla. That's awesome. That's where I'm from. I was from Downers Grove. I'm from Geneva, CC. That's my stomping grounds from when I was a little kid. We lived outside of Chicago during the first Bulls three-peat. Cre Creola? Hello. Tesla takedown. How did that evade my radar? That's what I want to know. I would have been all in on that. Sorry. I don't know what happened. Oh my God. Here's some good news for you. Irish politicians roundly reject. I mean, you had to know this was coming. Conor McGregor's presidential bid. Great. That's awesome. So no, he will not be. Oh man. Oh, by the way, I have to talk about this because I'm a gamer, right? So it's weird because Elon Musk and I play the same games. So like Elden Ring, fucking Diablo, Path of Exile, okay? It's weird that he and I are playing the same games, okay? One of the things that you'll never hear me fucking do, because I wasn't born yesterday, is call myself good at video games. Just understand this. I have more hours of playing video games in my lifetime than anyone you've ever met in your life. Promise. Promise. I play video games every day and have since I was like 5, with some exceptions. Okay? I would never call myself good. Am I probably good at video games? Probably pretty good at video games. You can tell that not only is Elon not naturally good at games, but he's willing to put himself in situations that he should never be in based on not just his equipment, but his level of experience and ability. He doesn't really know how to play the characters. It's clear somebody else did the work, right? And I also want to say in the same breath, not only did he not put the time in on the characters, building them up and learning about them and doing the shit, he also didn't do the worst part about those games, which is grind to get the gear that it takes to put himself in the situations that he doesn't need to fucking be in because his character's not ready. He's not ready. He doesn't know what he's doing. Okay? He hasn't familiarized himself with the character at all. Okay? I am in an era, almost lost my words, where I just happen to have a really close friend that also plays Diablo and Path of Exile. And Magic. I used to play Magic the Gathering. They play Magic the Gathering too. Okay. So what they did is they came to me and they looked at my character and they were the one that suggested the build I was using and they gave me some gear which made the playthrough a breeze. And all I did was cash in all the gear that I got. I just sold it because I have the better gear. So it took, for the record, it did take away sort of an element of the game where I was no longer concerned with what I was picking up. This is not going to be better than what I got on, but I still had to play the character and figure it out and learn how it works and play all the levels and get the character from level 1 all the way to now where I'm like I've got two level 86 characters in Path of Exile. And real talk though, because I have friends, because I have someone in my life that also plays the same game and probably even plays more than I do. Now that I think about it, he might be a person that plays more games than I do. He did the grinding and gave me the gear that let me play the game and it not be such a fucking grind. Okay? I'm a casual gamer, so I make the effort to get to the point where I can exploit a get glitch and just dupe. So, what I'm obsessed with in all games is starting over. All games. I love the leveling aspect. I like knowing what the meta is. Like, I know that's kind of a weird concept for people, but I like knowing what's the most powerful thing you could be doing. I'm gonna try to do some semblance of that, knowing that like I don't have the grind in me. So I'm willing to go so far, put in the work it takes to level my character, whatever's the in Elden Ring, for the record, it was Lightning Strike, by the way, which is hilarious because now in Path of Exile, my high level trickster is using Lightning Strike, and that's a completely different game. Hilarious. But the Lightning Strike Elden Ring built the high end or high faith, I think, build in Elden Ring made that game a fucking joke. You one hit everything. You literally just walk under it and and the lightning comes down around you and everything dies. Yeah, it's fucking awesome. I think the best build is the Sword of Night and Flame. But once you play through the game with the Sword of Night and Flame, you realize it only gets worse from here. It has a Kamehameha, uh, like a giant laser beam and it has a wave of fire. So it has two abilities. All for the record, one is wave clear. So you have a wave of enemies, you just fucking flame wave them all away. And then for a boss, you just get yourself lined up and they're running at you and you're just like, okay, Kamehameha wave. Shit is over. Okay. But once you've done that, once you go and you find where it is, then I become obsessed because this is how my brain works. My brain goes, now can you get to it faster? So now I want to start over now that I know where that shit is. And now I want to get all of the pieces that I need to get to that. Because once you get to that, then now the game starts. Now, fortunately for me, I didn't stick. It didn't stick. Where I was like, oh, that's the only way to play this game. What I ended up doing was there's a sword and a wand in the Caelid South that you can get that are really close to each other that you can get low level and they're high int and you also get that stone, is it like stone toss or whatever spell, and that's a better way to play Elden Ring because you can technically beat the game with items you basically start the game with. And I find that interesting, right? Like you get to know a weapon set and a skill set very intimately when you played a game for 100 hours and 99 of it was with that weapon and that sword and that wand. Um, so it made it feel more, in my eyes, more like a Zelda game. That's what I think of Elden Ring. I think of Elden Ring as like the space beyond like Legend of Zelda. I also play those games too. I have a Switch too. I have a Switch and a PlayStation and my PC. So I'm like a big gamer. I do play a lot. But again, I would never call myself a good gamer. That would never come out of my mouth. Why? Because there are people, for example, there are people that speed run Elden Ring in 23 fucking minutes. Hell no, I'm not good at video games. There are people beating this shit in 5 seconds. The fuck out of here. Same thing, like I played Magic the Gathering competitively for like a decade. I've been at the final table, won and lost more than I won more than I lost sometimes. Never fucking mattered. It's just the thrill of victory, agony to defeat type shit. Never once thought to cheat. Never once thought to cheat. I thought about cheating. You know what I'm saying? I thought about, did they cheat? I've been cheated. I've watched people cheat. People cheated against me. And it fucking hurts. It's staggering. Where you're like, did you just draw extra card on my turn? Did you just look at the top card of your library on my turn? It's fucking cheating. Yeah. So again, knowing what's out there, speedrunners, for example, you'd be silly to call yourself good at a game. There are people that are just casually so much better than I'll ever be at everything, literal everything. Um, Fortunately, the way I was raised is my dad was like never turn down a challenge, like buck up to that shit. So I'm one of those rare people like I play Fortnite so that I had something to do with when my nieces and nephews want to play video games, right? I coach high school football. I'm gonna have kids that are gamers that literally can't talk unless they're talking to you in a microphone, right? Right, which I think helps build relationships is meeting them where they're at, right? was one of the reasons I got into coaching, is because I was like, imagine when a guy just wants to vibe out and play like NCAA football or Madden. I could put our playbook on Madden and NCAA football. I could connect with them where they're at, put our playbook, our play style in their hands, have them play as themselves at their position, knowing our tendencies and what we do and our philosophy. And no, I still haven't heard anything back. So if I could get you all to do anything, call Tri County High School and ask them when Coach Malott starts. If any of you, I'm not going to give you the number. You're going to have to do a little Googling. Wolcott, Indiana, Tri County High School. Call them and ask them when Coach Malott starts. You want to make a donation to the athletic program. That'd be great if somebody did that. Oh, shit. Because I haven't heard anything. I actually sent them a follow up like, hey, I appreciate your time. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me. Now that I know that, this is, they don't have a lot of big boys. So that's why they were asking me about what kind of offense do I run? What kind of defense do I run? And I said it's got to be built around your people. It's not built around your people, you got a problem. Hey, good morning, Corey. So, hey, there's about 25 people here Sunday morning. Thank you for being here, hanging out with me. Apparently, the app's going away or could be banned. So, if I were you, if you understand that this is a daily show, that we are broadcasting live and have been on YouTube as well every day. And also, in my links up in my bio is a link to my YouTube. And if I were you, I would make that transition happen. That way you don't have to worry about, is he banned on fucking TikTok or not? Is his content being suppressed? Because I'm one of the things that I'm making sure that I'm saying out loud is that I didn't know that shit was happening yesterday until it was happening. And given that I'm pretty much, how to got bought? Did TikTok get bought? When did that happen? Yeah, I don't think it's been purchased, but I think that they're in talks. But I also think that the app changed fundamentally when Facebook got involved. And I think that TikTok pulled its algorithm out and let Facebook run amok because it's trash. When I scroll TikTok, it's now ads for Facebook and Instagram. Like that's a significant percentage of what I'm scrolling across is a Facebook ad. But again, it's like Facebook, McDonald's, Instagram, like, and you're like, why? Mark Zuckerberg fucking sucks. This shit sucks. So I'm not surprised I didn't know, but I'm like pretty anti fucking Elon Musk. And somehow that got kept off my radar. And I'm not blaming anyone, and I'm not also like taking the blame for something. Like I didn't do anything wrong, right? Yeah, the algorithm, and again, I hate to be like, it makes me sound like a fucking conspiracy theorist, but it's like the algorithm was jacked up, dude. Think about, I didn't see there was a fucking Tesla protest until people were fucking protesting. How? How did that miss me? How did no one, and again, no one was like, Jared, there's a big Tesla protest on Saturday. I would have pumped that shit up. I would have made it like a part of the show, right? Because keep in mind, we're amidst the Target boycott. There's actually a whole list of companies that we're kind of not fucking with anymore. Okay? No Amazon, Nestle, Walmart, Target, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell, Airbnb, Home Depot, U-Haul, Planet Fitness. We don't fuck with those places. A lot of smaller chains talking about Gaza and Israel and the no-no zone. Yeah, I'm saying I'm one of those people. I'm not trying to make excuses because that I feel like that you lose credibility when you make excuses. Yeah, I remember the shutdown of TikTok last year. That's when Facebook's took part ownership of TikTok. Yeah. Yeah. But I tracked this. I don't pay very close attention because I don't want to become obsessed with the numbers. But I went back and looked at all my content, and hey, this is about the cockiest you'll ever hear me. I was doing so good. Like for a while, your boy was hitting regularly. Like anytime it gets like 10 plus thousand fucking views, that's really good. I'm a nobody. I'm a nobody. I have couple dozen videos with 100,000 plus views. That's awesome. That's about as cocky as I'll ever get. I did so good. I made a video about Cash Patel. I didn't have a single video hit 1,000 views for a month. Go, but I don't know if you can go see it, but it was late February. I think like February 22nd or something like that. I was wearing a black uh hoodie, which that doesn't tell you anything. Um, but I made a video about Cash Patel using the FBI as private security or something like that, and like how inappropriate it is for like the head of the FBI to force them then to guard him. It's just or something like that. I forget what the actual structure of the video was. But again, I don't hover over my content. I just make it and move on with my life. And if people comment on it, that's great. So make sure that you like, comment, and share my shit. I don't do that because again, that's not really what I'm here to do. My ears ring all the time. I'm afraid if I stop talking, I'll have to start hearing them. You know what I mean? But if I'm talking, it's like I can't really hear that my ears are ringing all the time. It's kind of fucking sad, but it is how I've dealt with tinnitus for so long. Just talk over it. Tim Pool, paid by Russia, added to the White House press pool, just so everybody knows how hypocritical that shit is. But yeah, we're obviously boycotting Amazon, Nestle, Walmart, Target, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell, Airbnb, Home Depot, U-Haul, and Planet Fitness. Also, download the Goods Unite Us app. GUU is where I believe you'll see that in your app store. And then also the Five Calls app so that you can start calling your representatives when bills, especially bills that are going to impact you, so you can let them know how you feel. You'll also notice that you have less viewers or viewers on TikTok because of changes. Yeah. Well, no, so like in the wake of the election, I was still hitting. It was when I made the content about the FBI that for like a month. None of my videos hit 1,000 views. But I had a video with 5K views yesterday, and a video hit 13K like 3 days ago. Hadn't done that in over a month. And it wasn't my content. My content's consistent. I'm consistent as fuck. That's one thing you gotta give me. You think the FBI caught wind of it? I don't fucking know. See, I'm never putting a target on my own back. I'm never saying that I'm important enough for somebody to fucking target me. I'm just telling you the numbers. You make your own. Think about this. I was regularly popping the fuck off. Like 10K plus views multiple times a week on a daily post. Ask most of the people in here, they'll tell you. My wave was going. I was on one until I made that video about Cash Patel. And then if I look at the numbers since that day, none of the videos I made in the same vein, same conversations hit even 1,000 fucking views. And in the last month, which is a specific range of time and also a long enough group of time, I've never gotten so many comments and direct messages. Oh my God, I can see you now. I used to Google your name in this, or like search your name in this app and couldn't find it. And I would just be like, well, we did get banned from going live. And they're like, no, couldn't find your account. You were still posting on TikTok, right? And I'm like, I post usually a long piece in the morning. I have thoughts, right? I wake up, just so everybody knows, I wake up, brush my teeth, make coffee, let the dogs out, start kind of taking in what has happened today, right? So that I have some material. Notice that I'm not trying to break news. You've never seen me breaking news. You can let Parnas do that shit. That kid is exhausted. That kid's fucking exhausted. What I'll do though is I'll look at the news, I'll make content around what is going on in the news to mostly point you to the show so that you can have a white cis male in your life that is, first of all, not a Democrat, not a Republican, did not vote for this nor any of the Trump administration. I wouldn't even dare call myself a fucking Democrat because I'm doing something. Is that track? I'm actually have the stones knowing that this fucking administration is literally deporting its detractors to make a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics where we're going to fucking talk about that. We're not going to not talk about it. And again, I've this has never been about money or views. I don't care about those things. There's a reason you don't see me posting my Cash App. I don't have a fucking neon sign on my goddamn ceiling with my Cash App on it. I don't do that shit. This isn't a racket. This is truth. This is the an actual human being reading the same shit y'all see and having a conversation about it. Because we have gotten away from that. We have gotten away from having a conversation where there's no good guy, there's no bad guy, there just is what happened. And you're talking about what happened. Like it's as a veteran, as a Marine that was on a Navy vessel, it perturbs me that this administration planned military activity using Signal for the purpose of knowing that those conversations would be deleted, that they would have some ability to avoid accountability. And they got caught not because that's what they wanted to happen. So I want to make sure that we stick in here. It's because they're inept. It's not because they're highly intelligent, They're fucking incompetent. They added the editor in chief of the Atlantic. And I want to make sure that we say this. That's not a fucking journalist, you fucking assholes. The editor in chief is like the boss. He's like the guy driving the staff. He's not a writer. The editor in chief doesn't write op-eds. The editor in chief edits them for content. So he would be the kind of person that you make him hold the evidence and decide what to do with it. What are you going to do with it, fourth wall? What are you going to do with it, editor in chief of the Atlantic? And for the record, we got fucking lucky, and I say we the people, that that was not just a journalist. We got lucky that that was an editor in chief whose career is not in any fucking danger. And they can put those fucking texts out and let the world know those assholes that are in power right now were bumbling like schoolgirls over killing people using the military. And again, I'll say, Semper Fi, brother. I ain't no fucking war hero, but I know some. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. That all comes crashing down one day. That bravado that JD Vance and Pete Hegseth show you, where they're so excited to use military power to end other people's lives, it wears on you. Ask me how I know. Like, I know those people. The people that do the things that those people tell them to do. Because I was in the Marine Corps Infantry during a time of war in 2nd Battalion, 2nd Marines Weapons Company, the most combat deployed unit in Marine Corps history, ma'am or sir. In fact, when I got to them, they were on their fifth straight deployment to Iraq. And they also wanted to go back there. And it wasn't because of the shooty shooty bang bang. It wasn't because of we're in a war and this is fun. No, they had been in Karma and Mahmadiyah, and they had been there through its downfall, and they had been there for its rebuilding, and they wanted to go back and protect these rebuilding cities in Iraq, and keep those people and those families and those communities safe because we've been with them for years. Not because they desire bloodshed. The most combat deployed unit in Marine Corps history. That's what I did when I was on active duty. I didn't shy away from the fight. I went into the fray to the most combat deployed unit in the Marine Corps. Every single one of them that had a combat action ribbon was a fucking shell of themselves. Very, very few people that I've ever met with a combat action ribbon are in the same sort of headspace that I'm in. Very fucking few people handle that very well. So when you ask me how I know, it's because that was my leadership when I was on active duty. Those people that weren't handling it very well. Now, I'm also fortunate to have been directly led by people that had been through that and were handling it well. Then Sergeant Archett, then Staff Sergeant Sandy, my platoon leader, and then my platoon commander, Staff Sergeant filling an officer's role. Mhm. I had incredible near leadership, right? The people that I worked with every day were fucking awesome. I got very fucking lucky. I have said that since I came home. Yeah, Dave, for sure. I understand though that PTSD is not limited to combat veterans. I understand that 60% of diagnosis of PTSD are for car accident victims. So PTSD is more common than you think. It's your body's way of sort of protecting yourself. And I was in therapy for years, and my therapist frequently told me that the average age that a man begins therapy in the VA is 68. So if you take anything from me, it's that the reason I'm so headstrong and confident and am able to daily sit here with you is partially because of the VA healthcare system, particularly mental health. I was in therapy monthly for years. And again, it's not because I did something wrong. My battle buddy died while I was on active duty. He was my roommate, my best friend. His name was RJ Rady. While we were on convalescent leave. And I went to his posthumous UCMJ trial where they gave him an other than honorable discharge because they found cocaine in his system. So they basically said that he killed himself. And I went a fucking decade in my goddamn feelings thinking it was my fault, even though I wasn't there. I wasn't in the state when he died. I had nothing to do with his death, just so everyone knows. I had nothing to do with that at all. I wasn't there. In fact, they didn't fucking tell me that he died. I came back from convalescent leave and there was a bunch of them standing outside my door knowing I'm coming back and they were real somber. We're sorry RJ's dead. Here's his fucking dog tags and his goddamn camo. And I was like, what? And then six, like I said, 6 months after he died, they medically separated me and sent me home. We got restricted for that. Don't worry, we're almost done. So for more than a decade, I mourned as though RJ had unalived himself. More than a decade. And then his wife contacted me June of 2018 and said RJ didn't unalive himself. He was murdered. Here's the conversation I had with the person that did it. So I know who did it, how they did it, that RJ's not even their only victim. And oh, by the way, back then they worked on Camp Lejeune. They worked on base. The person that unalived my battle buddy and best friend worked on base. And RJ is not even their only victim. Step down. CC step down. He's being forced to step down because special government employees can only be on for 150 days. So he has to do this. And it's figurative and all lies. And Elon's a terrible person. Yes. Thanks, Angie. So I always think it's funny. Funny. It's haha funny when people say shit like, "What'd you do while you were on active duty?" And I'm like, "Oh, you just walked into a fucking nightmare. You just walked into a fucking nightmare when somebody has the stones to be like, Oh, what'd you do? Why are you wearing that division hat, boy? Remember that shit from yesterday? Because I can assure you that if you knew what I've been through, if you knew at all what I've been through, you would never say that. You know why? Because everyone I know knows, and none of them ever check on me. They ain't never ask me how I'm doing. They know how I'm doing. Every day I wake up in a fresh new hell. That's how the fuck I'm doing. So eat the rich, have yourself a fucking Sunday. I'm excited my wife is coming home today. It's really unfortunate who Elon Musk actually is. It's really unfortunate like who he became. He had such potential to be like the coolest person ever. And well, have a good day, everybody. Try to relax. Remember, 8 hours of sleep, take a nap, you probably need it. Drink water, eat right. Might want to exercise. What's up, KB?